on your batteries. Check. Emergency center. Check. Store up your water. Check. And board up your window. Check. So you got to place it. Check. Before it is too late. Check. Disaster could happen anytime, any place.
Welcome to From Danger to Safety, the official disaster preparedness program from the National Emergency Management Agency, Nema. This show is proudly brought to you by our sponsor, National Caribbean Insurance. Stay with us as we move from danger to safety.
In the sun or in the rain, life's a journey, joy and pain. But NCI's here day and night, always here for you, making it right. Always here for you. Always. With NCI, you've got a friend. Always here for you. Always. Right here to the very
At National
end.
Caribbean Insurance, you are covered and secure. We're your partner, your protector, your peace of mind. So for home, for health, for life, choose NCI because we're always here for you. Always.
Always here for you. With NCI, you've got a friend. Always here for you. Right here to the very end. Always here for you. With NCI, you've got a friend. Always here for you. Right here to the very end.
On today's program, we address a critical and often overlooked area of preparedness, making arrangements for our beloved pets. We are joined by Dr. Andrea Peda, Associate Professor in Shelter Medicine at the Ross University School of Veterinary Medicine. Dr. Peda will explain why it is critical for pet owners to include their animals in their family's emergency plan. She'll walk us through what needs to go into a pet's essential go bag, tackle major misconceptions about animal safety during a crisis, and discuss the best options for pet owners who cannot find a pet-friendly shelter. We'll also cover special considerations for owners of smaller animals like birds and reptiles. Stay with us as we move from danger to safety.
So my name is Dr. Andrea Peda. I'm an Associate Professor of Shelter Medicine at Ross University School of Veterinary Medicine here in St. Kitts. It's very critical for pet owners to include their pets in their family's emergency plan because these pets are basically part of people's families. We consider them our family members, and if they're not part of the plan and something happens, for example, a hurricane or some other disaster, and there's no time then to kind of backtrack and plan, that's going to cause a significant amount of stress on the pet owners because now they are left with not knowing what to do. They're going to be scrambling, trying to figure out what to do with their pets and how to handle that situation. And that's going to then further put them at more danger as well as their pets at danger for not having, somewhere to go or knowing how to handle that situation. Common myths or false assumptions that would go along with people feeling about pets and hurricanes or disasters are that, they might think, oh, well, if something happens, I can just leave and go back really quick, or I can leave them and get back there and help them once the disaster is cleared. And that's not always the case because we don't know how fast and quick and bad these disasters are going to come in. You may not be able to get back to your pet. There's lots of dangers that could then be in the way. And so doing that, leaving them and not having something in place can lead to you or the person getting harmed, the pet getting harmed. And if there's not, provisions for them for safety and food and water and things, it could be a detriment to both the pets as well as the people. So the thing with animals, and with particularly our companion animals, so I'm talking dogs and cats, these animals that we're having as our pets, our family members, these are now domesticated animals. These are no longer animals living in the wild. They are fully dependent on us. They are what we would call sentient beings, meaning they have feelings and they need us to take care of them. So if we were to just assume that they know what to do, that's not going to be the case. They're used to us feeding them every day. They're not out there hunting their food, so they're going to starve. They're not going to have anyone there feeding them. Water, whether there's fresh water available, we're giving them that fresh water every day. We're giving them the care they need. And we're not going to be able to do that if we just let them just go fend for themselves. They're then going to suffer needlessly, and we could prevent that by being prepared in advance. So it's very important for people to have their own ready-go bag in the event of an emergency, but even more important as well, if you have a pet, we tend to forget about them and their needs. And so a pet also needs to have what we would call a ready-go bag, which is just items that are critical that you can pick up really quick in the event of an emergency and get on the move when danger's coming. So for pets, for a ready-go bag, things that you're really going to want to make sure you have are at least probably about 3 days worth of food and water, because we don't know whether that will be available. So have that ready to go. Have documents ready that are your pet's critical documents, things that we would think of our own as critical documents, like their health records. We will often have a vaccination card for our pets that we use to confirm their identity and their vaccine status. Something to identify them. So it's great always to make sure your pet is wearing some sort of identification. So a collar around their neck with a tag that has their information, their name and their phone number for you as their contact, or a microchip. Even more ideal would be a microchip implantation so that they have a permanent identification number. Always have something to transport your pets with. So if you have a dog, a leash so that you can safely transport it from one place to another. If they're a little dog or they're a cat, ideally some sort of transport carrier like a crate, so that you can safely transport them, because they're going to be scared. You don't want them running away from you. So you want to make sure you have them secured appropriately. Any medications is also important. Sometimes pets, just like people, are on medications for a different ailment that they may have. And so it's important that if they have critical medication particularly that they have to take every day, that you have a supply of that also available for them. I think these would be the main things, and maybe anything else that's of comfort to them, maybe a toy or something that smells like home, so that it keeps them a little bit more comfortable mentally in this scary situation. So a common concern is that when these disasters happen and there are public shelters that people are encouraged to go to, oftentimes these shelters may not allow pets or animals to be accompanying their people. And so in that event, it's very important to have some other sort of plan in place. Like, what can you do? If you feel that you have to go to a shelter and your pets are not welcome to go there with you, what are the alternatives? So things to look for in your community are going to be whether there's a boarding facility. Sometimes there's places that will take in animals for a fee, but allow them to stay there, and that might be a safer place than leaving them unattended. Maybe there's a family member who lives in a more safe area that maybe isn't in the floodplain area or an area where there could be a significant damage, more inland perhaps, that would be willing to help with watching the pets. Sometimes there's pet-friendly shelters, so there may be, while some shelters in place may not allow pets, some may. And so it's important to kind of explore that in your community and find out what options are available before the disaster gets there, so you have an idea of what you could do. So often, in addition to dogs and cats as being part of people's families, other pets that are little small exotic type animals might be being kept as pets as well. That would include animals like rabbits or reptiles, birds even, guinea pigs, different things that might be in people's homes. And what to do for these animals, I think the biggest thing is, again, making sure that you have a proper supply of their food, the things that they need for best practices with husbandry, making sure that you have proper bedding for them, proper housing for them. Usually they have housing that would be maybe a little bit more transportable, again, like a crate or some sort of carrier. And again, if you have any medical records or things like that that could go with you, I think would be important, but particularly making sure you have food and water supply, and of course any medications that they may need. So after a disaster, things can be very much dangerous as far as we don't know what kind of damage has happened, downed power lines, down to trees, branches, buildings being, destroyed. There's a lot of things, flooding. So animals can be at high risk, including, in addition to people. And so it's important for pet owners to be aware of this, to make sure that we're keeping the pets as safe as possible. So removing any debris, making sure that there's nothing that they can harm themselves on, sharp objects, moving these things safely as best as you can out of the way. For both the people and the animals, obviously, will help for that. Also, we would worry about potential for, if these animals are displaced and now free roaming, there's some hazards that could be with animal bites because if there's now animals free roaming. And so while your pet might be secure, being careful if there's other animals that are kind of roaming around the area and things like that. So documents that pet owners should have prepared and ready in advance is going to be the basic medical documents, and that would include vaccination records. So, anything showing the up-to-date vaccines, especially because lots of potential for disease outbreak when we have these disasters and displaced animals. So we want to have the vaccine records. We want to have records of the pet's name, their identification number. This is important to, especially if they get displaced, to prove your ownership. So if you get, separated from your pet, it's important to have a photo even of yourself and or your pet or together so that you can prove ownership. Identification, like a microchip, is an ideal way to have them, sort of properly and permanently identified as your pet. So I think these are important things for pet owners to have in addition to any medications that they might need. My single most important piece of advice that I would give to pet owners here in St. Kitts and Nevis as we prepare for hurricane season would be, please plan in advance for your pets in addition to yourselves. Pets are often left behind or forgotten, and I think it's the most important thing is we plan in advance, know what we need, have their ready-go bag in place. That way, when swiftly a disaster comes in and we don't have time, we're going to be ready. It's going to be safer for our pets, which in turn will be safer for us. So for viewers who do not have pets, but they are interested in helping in these cases of disasters during the aftermath, the best way they can get involved is to volunteer. They can assist pet owners who are having issues with displaced pets. They can assist by donating food, water, even leashes and collars. There's many ways they can get involved. They can volunteer at the local animal shelter. They should reach out to the local government facilities, the animal shelter, and see in what ways they can be of assistance. But we're always looking for additional hands to help.
That's all the time we have for today's episode of From Danger to Safety. We'd like to extend a special thank you to our guest, Dr. Andrea Peda, from the Ross University School of Veterinary Medicine, for her valuable guidance on keeping our furry, feathered, and scaled family members safe before, during, and after a disaster. A special thank you to our sponsor, National Caribbean Insurance, for making this program possible. The program is aired every Tuesday at 1 p.m. on Ziz Radio with a rebroadcast on television at 8 p.m. It will also be available on Nema's YouTube channel and Facebook page. For more information on disaster preparedness, follow us on our social media channels. Join us again next time as we continue to help you move from danger to safety.
So you got to play safe before it is too late. Disaster could happen anytime, any place. In the sun or in the rain, life's a journey, joy and pain. But NCI's here day and night, always here for you, making it right. Always here for you. With NCI, you've got a friend, always here for you, right here to the very
At National
end.
Caribbean Insurance, you are covered and secure. We're your partner, your protector, your peace of mind. So for home, for health, for life, choose NCI because we're always here for you. Always.
Always here for you. With NCI, you've got a friend, always here for you.